Hey basketball coaches and players, today I'm going to break down how you can defend a bigger player like Joel Embiid. Now, the clip that we're going to be watching is the Toronto Raptors going up against the Philadelphia 76ers, and we are really going to be focusing on how Marc Gasol is able to stop and slow down Joel Embiid. So, if you're playing against a team that has bigger players like this, then this is definitely the video that you're going to want to watch. Let's get down and let's check out how to defend Joel Embiid. Okay, so what we have here is Joel Embiid down in the post, and he's getting a pin down screen by Simmons. Of course, Marc Gasol is going to try and fight through. You always want to try and keep your center on the other team's biggest player. Now, what we see here, and a lot of mistakes that a lot of teams have with Joel Embiid, is they try to really cover him tightly even though he's out close to the perimeter. Now, he is a pretty solid three-point shooter, but we can allow that shot to happen. We would rather not have him inside that key. So because of this, we have a good roughly 4-foot spacing between Joel Embiid and Marc Gasol. And now what Marc Gasol is doing is having his hand up into the air. It's not forward into Joel Embiid. And why we want to do this is because he could swipe that ball through his arm and try and get an and one. We see a lot of players doing this. Players like Kyle Lowry, but also Williams from the Clippers tends to do that quite often. So you want to have your hand straight up, which is going to contest his shot. Now, Joel Embiid actually has a really low percentage shot when it comes to shooting while being contested. So, if you're playing up against a team that has a player as big as Joel Embiid, I really want you to try and scout that team maybe the game before yours if you're in a tournament, and you're going to be able to really stop Joel Embiid or a player like him quite easily. So now we see a little bit of a mistake. Marc Gasol goes and tries to block a three-point shot. We really don't need that, but Joel Embiid is able to drive on this. Now we have a help defender who is roughly in that 6'10", 6'11 range. He is also quite tall, and the one thing that you really want to do with a player, any player, really driving towards the rim, is to contest the shot by getting right in front of them, planting your feet and jumping straight up with your hands straight up. That's going to contest the shot enough for one of two things to happen. For one, it could help the original defender to come by and block the shot like we see with Marc Gasol, but what could also happen is because it's contested so well, he might have just missed that shot anyways. So remembering what I was saying, you don't want to jump to block or try and block any shots, especially from somebody who's taller. So what we're going to have is Joel Embiid, he's going to drive. Marc Gasol is staying on his feet. He is not jumping to try and block any fakes. And then he's able to stay in front of Joel Embiid by not crossing his feet and to try and keep between him and the net. Now, what we see here is not even a jump to block that shot. He just turns to go for the rebound. Now, of course, if Joel Embiid was to try and grab his offensive rebound, which is what he was supposed to do, then Marc Gasol is already in prime position to really block out or box out Joel Embiid. So here we have Joel Embiid again out on the perimeter. I don't know why the Sixers play him so often out in the perimeter. He is a big man. He needs to be really pounding it inside. I do understand that he's got an okay three-point shot, or at least better than Simmons, but he needs to be inside a lot of the time. And he just doesn't. He is afraid of Marc Gasol maybe, but as we can see here, he goes up with the shot fake. He thought he was going to be able to drive, but as we can see, Marc Gasol is allowing him to shoot. He is staying on his feet. He is not jumping, and he is contesting with his arm. And now, when Joel Embiid tries to drive, Marc Gasol is able to stay in front of him, and he is giving him enough room to technically shoot it, but he is 7 feet tall, and so is Joel Embiid. So Joel Embiid knows that his hand goes to about there when it's reached up. He's picked up the ball. He's already dribbled. That means that Marc Gasol could jump for that shot if he does indeed try to shoot it. So there is a block attempt, and of course that is still a contested shot. And Joel Embiid is not very good at contesting shots or shooting contested shots. So what he does here is just simply pass it up or do some kind of a dribble handoff screen type thing. But Marc Gasol's defense is really good, especially when it comes to screen and roll defense. He gives enough room for this player to catch up with his own original player. Marc Gasol hedges just enough to cut off the forward momentum of this player, but stays within distance to Joel Embiid. And we also have another defender coming down to play help just in case. And that's what we see here. That help defender, OG Anunoby, gives just enough of a punch or a hit or just a close contact with Embiid so that Embiid is not open for the pass, gives Marc Gasol enough time to recover back, and then Anunoby needs to get back to that player who's out on that three-point line. Now what we see over here, which is currently off the screen, is a very upset Embiid. So when you start stopping a big man from scoring, you're going to be really getting into his head and really ticking him off. And what happens here is just a frustration foul. We have Marc Gasol, who is literally all over Embiid. Not a foul. He's not grabbing at all. And Embiid gets ticked off, and he does a nice hard shove with his shoulder. And Marc Gasol obviously tries to move out of the way. He is staying balanced. It's all about balance, really. So when he does that push, Marc Gasol is able to still stay balanced, open up his arms to cut off any passes that may be coming down to Joel Embiid. And then obviously a foul call is called because this man right there did a foul, and that's not good. So another way to stop a bigger player in the low post is, of course, really playing big, strong, and straight up. So what we see here is Marc Gasol really using his chest. He is not pushing Joel Embiid. He is using his chest to fight back. You are allowed to protect your area of the court where you are standing, not by pushing with your hands, but you are allowed to protect yourself by using your chest. And that's what we have here. Marc Gasol is able to contest that shot going straight up with his hand, and of course that's a missed shot. Going back to the stat where Joel Embiid is really not good when he is contested. So what we see here is Joel Embiid. He's going to try and get behind Marc Gasol, try to push Marc Gasol out so that we can have a pass over top so that he can get that layup. Now Marc Gasol is able to stop this by getting lower and staying straight up with Joel Embiid. He's not allowing Joel Embiid to get any room and any space in that key. He is keeping him essentially underneath that rim. If he was going to allow Joel Embiid to push him out another 2 to 3 feet, that would have been an easy basket. But because Marc Gasol is also a very strong player, he's able to keep Joel Embiid underneath that net. So there's some tips for you. If you are trying to defend a strong low post player, obviously you're going to need a player who is strong enough to keep that player if he tries to basically have a lob pass over the defender to keep him underneath the rim, but also a player strong enough to be able to stay straight up and not allow that player to push them underneath the rim, but also have a smart enough player and a quick enough foot speed player to be able to keep that player out on the perimeter, stay between him and the net so that you are unable to allow him to get to the basket, which will allow you to make him shoot the ball more often. And shooting the ball from a three-point line is a lot lower percentage play than shooting a two-point shot close to the rim. I hope that this video has helped you become a better basketball player or coach. If it has, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.